Hello, students. I'm going to teach this book for grade 12 advanced function for Hill Ryerson. And for the test 2, part of test 2 in chapter 2. So chapter 2 test part 2. I'm going to use a simplified way to explain to you for the chapter 2 text questions. Please continue for chapter 2 tests. We have done up to question 9D. Let's start with the question 9D. So chapter 2 test 9D, the question is, I move the camera a little bit this time. So it's equal x 45x exponent 3, x exponent 2, 20x at 12. Oh, I shouldn't put the equal sign this side, yeah, since the sign is here. So, and then from here, we're going to text factor. So what factor we can get? So we're going to use B over A, the factor formula. So this is the B, and that's the A. Now for B, we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. But we usually don't need to try so large number. And how about A? 1, 3, 5, and 9, and 45. So from here, I think we should try smaller number. Let's say 1 more. So if it's a 1, negative will be 47. So, and 45 at 12, oh, it's 57. It's not work. And how about negative? So negative, we still have 47. So positive, we are going to get 72. So 72, this negative is not work. Yeah, the positive huge. Now, and then we can try maybe like 2. So 2 work. I guess the best one is 2 over 3. So if 2 over 3 work, I'm going to use a calculator. So let me write it down first. So we can try 2 over 3. So we're going to put 3x minus 2. So we try synthetic division here. So if it's a 2 over 3, we are going to add it. So we write the factor 45, negative 27, negative 20, and 12. So the first number we bring it down is 45. Now 45 divided 3, we are going to get 15. So we write 15 times 2, we get 30 here. So 30, negative 27, we're going to get 3. So 3, we got the 2 here. So 2, and that's 20, we get negative 18. So 6 and 18, 18 divided by 3 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. So it's a negative, we got negative. It is a factor, no remainder. So we write down, I move my camera. We write down here. We have a 45x exponent 2. And then 3x minus 18. So the x we put here. So, and then from here, we're going to see, we can simplify this divide by a 3. So we're going to put 3x minus 2. So 45 divided by 3, we're going to get 15. So 15x as bonus 3. So 8x and minus 6. And 3 here, we're going to get 3x. Now from here, can we factor 15x as bonus 2? So we are going to try. So let's say 15, we have a combination, will be 3x and 5x. And 6, we can get 2 and 3. So if we have a 5 times 2 is a 10, and 3 times 3 is a 9. 10 minus 9 is a 1. It fits. So now we write the factor. 3x minus 2 and 3x, and that's going to be 5x. So we want a 10. So we're going to have 5x minus 3 and a 2 here. So, and then we are going to get a 1 there. That's how we factor it. So, and what is the x value? So you're going to write x equal 2 over 3 and negative 2 over 3 and 3 over 5. And that's how we solve question 90 for the text question. Very good. We are going to do the next one for question 10. So question 10 is not the calculation, it's an explanation for calculation and theory. So describe similarity and difference between polynomial equation and polynomial functions and polynomial inequality, and use example to support your answer. And B, what is the relationship between the roots, zeros, and x-intercept? Explain your answer with example. So I can explain to you here. Root, zero, x-intercept, they mean the same thing. They're all x-intercepts. I'm going to write down. Now I explain to you question 10a. The polynomial equation and the function and the inequalities are the same way. So I'm going to underline same way. To solve and finding all the roots. But inequality needs to change the inequality sign to opposite expression when the variable is a negative integer. So example, negative 2x is larger than a. So to solve this inequality, so you see the coefficient carry negative. So x is larger a over negative 2, x larger than negative 4. In the final step, you need to reverse the inequality sign. X smaller than negative 4, and that's the only difference to solve it. Now in B, what is the roots? Roots equal zeros equal x-intercepts. They all mean one thing, same meaning. Now for question 11, so I plot the graph here. So A, asking you to write the equation for this coordinate function. So you write down all the x-intercept, a point in the graph. So I'm going to write f and x is equal a. So x plus 3, the first intercept, times negative 1.5, it's going to be 3x at 2. So, and then for 2, so x minus 2, 0 is an x. Now, and we're going to find Oh, I think here should be 2x over 3. Yeah, because 1.5. So we're going to apply this point to find the a. So we put 4. When y equals 4, a is 4x3 and 2 times negative 2 x3 and negative 2 minus 2 and times negative 2. We are going to find the a. Now 4 is equal, the first bracket is a 7. Second bracket, negative 4, so we got negative 1. The next one is negative 4 and negative 2. So now we can do a mental calculation. Negative 2, negative 4 is positive a. Negative a. Negative a times 7 is going to be negative 56. So 4 over negative 56 is the a. So now we're going to write a full equation. So if you want to simplify 4 over 56, you can divide by a 4. So we're going to get negative 1 over 56 divided by 4 is 14. So and times, so x, x3, 2x, x3, x minus 2, and times x. That's the full equation. So, and then we are going to do B. So B is asking, use the graph to identify the intervals below the x-axis. So I move the camera a little bit this side for your view. So for B, so you're going to see from negative infinity to negative 3. So it's below x. So you're going to write the first interval here. So, excuse me. So the number here, substitution for the point x negative 2, I should put negative 2 here. So I made a correction here. So if negative 2 and a 1, so we got positive 1. So if positive 1, this is going to be a positive a and times negative a. So if negative is going to be, should be 4 over negative a. And we're going to get 1 over 2. So I will rewrite this value here. So it's going to be equal negative 1 over 2. So instead of this part, excuse me for a little mess. So I'm going to write a new equation. You're going to see, clear. So f and x is negative 1 over 2 and x x 3, 2x x3, x minus 2 times x. So now we done the A. Now we are going to do part B. So what is B? B is asking you the intervals. So from the graph, you can tell from negative 3, this portion below x. So therefore, we're going to write x smaller than negative 3. So the next part is 1.5 to 0. So we're going to put negative 3 over 2 smaller than x and x smaller than 0. So the next one will be a 2. So it's going to be x larger than 2. So all this interval, the y value is negative. That's how we solve it for question 11. Now we're going to move on next question. Question 13. By reading the graph, we know the height is equal x. The length is 36. We only take half, divide by 2. We get 18. You look at in the graph, you know why. And minus x. So because the corner has an x. And how about w? W is 20 minus 2x. I roughly plot the graph in one side. So one side here is 36/2, and that's the width, and the height is x. Now we are going to write the equation. So volume is equal h, w, and L. So we substitution into the dimension. So volume is equal x times 20 minus 2x and times 18 minus x. That's for A. Now we look at B. Now B is provided when volume equal 400. When volume equal 450, so we substitution. And this side will be x. So we simplify it. So it will be x times 20 times 18. We got 316 minus 20x and minus 36x and add 2 x exponent 2. So we do distribution. Now we're going to combine it and write it into the largest degree in front. So we put 415. So equal x. So times 2x exponent 2. These two you add it combine. We are going to get 56x. And then add 360. So now we distribution for the x and also move 415 to the end. We make the equation equal 0. We have a 2x exponent 3 minus 15x exponent 2 at 316x minus 450. So from here, you can see the whole equation. You can factor 2. Since here will be decimal. So therefore, we're going to use technology to solve it. So if you type inside a graphic calculator, neither computer or graphic calculator, you're going to reading the graph. You can find all these dimensions. So, and -1, 1, or 1.5. So, and then times x, and then times the length, and times the width, and times the height. The only thing different method family function is a k. So that's how we solve this problem solving for volume. We are going to do question 14. Now in page 143, question 14, 15, and this chapter 2 test is use technology. So you're going to apply inside a graphic calculator to solve it. And 16, solve by factoring. So we're going to solve this inequality. So from here, we're going to move 16 to one side. So we put x is going to be smaller than 16 divided by 9. So you're going to solve the exponent 2, then you square root it, and positive and negative. So what are you going to get? X is going to be smaller, positive and negative 4/3. So which one are the solutions? So we're going to make it in a number line here. So this is a negative 4/3, and this positive 4/3. So we're going to text the equation if this side are true. So from here, we can test -2. From here, we can test 1 and +2. So let's test the -2. So if x equal -2, then you can plug in. -2 will be 4 times 9. So it's 36. So you get a positive here, which is not true. So how about a 1? 1 is true, negative. So how about 2? 2 is positive, is not true. So therefore, the only solution is the one between -4 and 4/3. So now we are going to write the solution here. So we know -5 is smaller than 0. So therefore, -4/3 from this portion to this portion is the solution. Good. Now 16b, the inequality is -x is bonus 3 minus 6x is bonus 2 minus 9x is larger than 0. So you can see, you can factor x. So we're going to factor the negative sign too. So I will move my paper here. So factor -x. I'm going to have an x is bonus 2 minus 6x and plus 9 and smaller than, larger than 0. So 3 3s are 9. So we're going to get a factor here will be x minus 3 times x minus 3, or -x times x minus 3 squared will be larger than 0. Good. So, and we're going to test it on the number line to see these two x values when x equals 0 and when x equals 3. So see which one are the solution. So we're going to try, if this is 0, we're going to try -1. And here, +1 and a 4. So if -1, we're going to get a +1 here. So, and we can use a bracket. So we got a positive first bracket. So the next one will be -1 here, and bonus 2. So we get a positive. So therefore, the solution at the 0, we got positive. Now, how about a 1? So we get a first bracket is negative. So 1. So as bonus 2, we get positive. Then we get negative in this interval. So how about 4? So if 4, we get a -4. So we got negative. So a 4 here, we get positive. So we got a negative here. So the solution is talked about larger. So therefore, only when x smaller than 0 is the solution. So we're going to write it down. Now we solve it. So the solution is x smaller than 0. Only this one is the positive one. Good. Very well. Now we are going to do C. Now for C is 2x is bonus 3 plus 5x is bonus 2 minus 18x minus 45. So if you look at the group factoring, it works. So we're going to factor x is bonus 2 here. So I'm going to move my paper a little bit. So I factor x is bonus 2. So what I left will be 2x at 5. Now the next portion, I'm going to factor 9. So it will be -9. I'm going to have a 2x at 5. Now from here, you can find 2x at 5 are the factor and x squared minus 9. So we're going to put x squared minus 9, we're going to put 3 square. And then, and this will be 2x and 5. Good, so far so good. So I'm going to move the paper a little bit up. Now from here, we continue factor this x squared minus 3 squared. We're going to have an x and 3. And times x minus 3. And 2x and 5 is going to be smaller or equal 0. Now we're going to test the number line here. I draw a number line here. So we're going to have all these x interval here. So the first one is negative 3. So the next one is negative 5 over 2. And positive 3. So for here, we test 4, negative 4. And negative 3 and 2.5, we can test negative 2.8. So in here, we can test a 1. And we can test a 4. Now let's find the first one with the bracket. So if you test negative 4, the first bracket, you're going to get negative. The second bracket, negative. And 2 times negative 4, negative 8, negative. So we're going to got a negative, negative, positive, and negative. We got a negative here. One solution smaller than 0. Now, how about 2.8? We test this interval. So if 2.8, the first one here, we got positive. 2.8, we get negative. And 2.8, so 3, okay, 2.8 times 2, we get 5.6. So we got negative. So we're going to continue. The one here is positive. So we're going to write positive here, which is not the solution. So now we're going to test between negative 5.2 and 3 plus 1. So the first bracket here, so we're going to get is positive. The next one, negative. The next one is positive. So it's going to be a negative. We got another solution here. Smaller or equal 0. Let's try 4. 4 here, first bracket, positive. Second bracket, positive and positive. So positive here is not the solution. We only get the one from negative 3 till negative 5.2. So from negative infinity to negative 10 is from negative 5/2 to 3, this interval. So therefore, we got 2 solutions. We're going to do the next question. Now, question 16D, the inequality. So 2x exponent 4, and 5x exponent 3, minus 8x exponent 2, minus 17x minus 6. Now, from this inequality, so we're going to find all the factors, like 2 have positive and negative 1, and positive and negative 2. And 6 have positive and negative 1, 2, 3, 6. So let's see if 1 works. So if 1, we're going to get 7 here. Definitely not work. We got 3 negative here. So how about a negative 1? Negative 1 create more negative, not work. So how about a positive 2? Yes, we can try positive 2. So we're going to write it down. So I move the paper here. So positive 2 will be x minus 2 is the factor. Now we're going to do a synthetic division here. So we put x minus 2. So subtract an x. Now we write all the coefficients. The first one is a 2, 5, negative 8, negative 17, and negative 6. So from here, we bring the 2 down. Negative 2 and 2, we got negative 4. We get a 9 here. Negative 2 and 9, we get negative 18. So we got a positive 10 here. Negative 2 times 10, we get negative 20. We got a positive 3 here. Negative 2 times 3, we got negative 6. No remainder is fit. Now we're going to write the equation here. The answer is 2x exponent 3, at 9x exponent 2, at 10x at 3 will be larger or equal 0. Now from this coordinate function, so are we going to try the factor again? So what factor we are going to get? So we have a 2, so will be 3 over 2. 2, we have the factor. We're going to try if it works. So we put 2x at 1 here. So we subtract. The coefficient we have is a 2, and a 9, and a 10, and a 3. So we're going to put 2 over 3. We're going to solve it as an x-intercept will be negative 1 over 2. So if we use negative 1 over 2 to do synthetic division, we're going to add. So we're going to have 2 times negative 1 over 2. We are going to get a negative 1. So will be an 8. So 8 times negative 1 over 2, we're going to get negative 4. So will be a 6. 6 times negative 1 over 2, we got negative 3. It works, no remainder. So we're going to write down the answer here. So after factor 2x at 1, we have a 2x exponent 2 at 8x and at 6. Now from here, you can see we can factor 2 here. So continue make it factorable. Now, if we factor 2, we're going to have an x exponent 2 at 4x at 3 and factor 2. Now, and from here, we can factor 3 times 1 is 3. 3 at 1, you get 4. It's fully factoring. So x at 3 times x at 1. The constant number, we don't need to write it. We are not going to use it to text for solution. So now we got all the x value. We're going to text it on a number line, see which one are the solution. So we're going to get the 1x, we got the 2 here. So the next one we got negative 1 over 2. So we got a negative 3 here. And we got a negative 1 here. So I'm going to change negative 1 here and negative 1 over 2 here. Put them by order. Now we're going to test the first one here. We test negative 4. We test negative 2. We're going to test negative 0.7. So we're going to test 1 here and 3 here. So in between each interval. So let's test the first bracket for a negative 4. So we plug in here. Negative 4, we got a negative. So how about here? We got negative. How about here? We got negative. How about here? We got negative. So it's going to be a positive. This is a solution. It's larger or equal 0. So how about the next one? -2. So we got negative. -2, we got negative. -2, we get positive. -2, we get negative. So from here, you can tell positive, positive, we got negative here. So this one is not a solution. How about the one for -0.7? So the first bracket, we got negative. Second bracket, we're going to get 0.7, 1.4, still negative. So, and then for here, we get positive. For here, we get positive. So we're going to get negative, negative, positive. So we got a positive here. Another solution, larger than 0. So how about a 1? So if a 1, we get negative. A 1, we get positive. A 1, positive, positive. So we're going to get a negative here. It's not the solution. So how about 3? So 3, we get positive, positive, and positive, and positive. Is not a solution. So we only get one solution here for -3 to -1. And the other solution, -0.5 to +2. From testing the number line, we find 2 solutions here. So I'm going to write it down. Now I say the solutions. The first one is the -3. So going this side, infinitive negative. So therefore, x smaller or equal -3. Positive side, one solution. The next one is from -1 to -1/2. It's positive side, another solution. The last one is x to positive infinity. So x is larger or equal to, also a solution. That's how we solve it. A lot of work, but we did it. So once you know the sequence and know how to use synthetic division by factor and use number line to test solution, it's much more simpler. Now, question 17 on page 147, the last question in the test, chapter 2 test. So if you read the question in the textbook, you know it's looking for volume. So we write down volume's equation equal H times L times W. So, and H stands for X, and the width will be the length 14 minus 2x. The width is 32 minus 2x. That's for A. Now for B, you're going to write the equation present the volume. So twice and half. So we're going to write it. Let's write twice is V equal 2x. So the volume will be double. Now let's write the next one, half of the volume. Then we are going to put 1/2x. That's all, not hard. Now C, asking you for these two equations, what are the relation? So their relation is family function. So, and then we are going to do D. So D is provided you a volume, 2016 cm3. And this has to be smaller than the function. So the function's volume is going to be larger than this one. So we write it into the inequality. Now we start to solve it. So just move it to one side and distribution and combine. Now we distribution these two brackets and times x and move the volume to the end. Now we're going to combine x as the line term, and we're going to move 4 in front. So write it into a combination. Now I combine and move the 4x exponent 2 in front, combine these two variables, like term, a negative 144x, and write the constant at the back. And then times the x now become a whole function. But if you look at the function here, you can factor 4 and make the number smaller. The job easier. Now, we're going to find a factor for this Q-bar function. The number is huge. So if we try 1, it's not work, this 500. Negative 1, it will be create huge negative. How about positive 2? It looks work. So let's try. So we're going to write 0. So x minus 2, we're going to try a positive. So does it work? We're going to try a synthetic equation here. So x minus 2, we're going to subtract. The coefficient is the 1, negative 36, and 320, and negative 504. So we put number here, fit in the area. So 1, we got negative 2. So we get negative 34. So a negative 34, we got positive 64 here. So in 68, 2, 4 is 8, 68. So, and then it's negative. So 320 minus 68. We are going to get 252. So 252 times negative 2, we got negative 504. So, and then from here, we got no remainder. It's fit. It's a factor. So we write the equation here. Will be x exponent 2 minus 34x at 252. So the question now become a quadratic. So we are going to find, use a quadratic equation to find this x value. So I'm going to put 34 here. Or minus 34 squared minus 4 times 252. See if we can get a real root. So we use a calculator. So if 34 exponent 2 minus 4 times 252, we got 148. It works. So 148 is a real root. We're going to put it into a square root. It's 12.17. So we got 34 or minus 12.17 divided by 2. Now let's get the first answer. It is positive. We get 34 divided by 2. So we got 23.08. So how about negative? So we got 34 minus 12.17 divided by 2. We got 10.92. So these are, oh, excuse me. Yeah, I will show the x value. So we have 2 x value here. Now we start to test the solution. See which one is the dimension. The first one here, x equal 2, and this quadratic have 2 variables. So let's test for a 3 here. For 1, going down the negative x. So I'm going to try a 4 here. So we're going to try a 15 here. We're going to try a 25 here. So to see if the inequality sign is correct. So let's try 1. So the first bracket we got, try 1. So I move camera a little bit here. So it's try 1, the first bracket here. The negative, positive, we got positive here. So this bracket. So again, positive, negative is a negative. It's not the solution. We have to be larger than 0. So how about try 4? So try 4, the first bracket we got is a positive. The second one, 4, 4, 16. So we put 16 here. And 4 times 34 will be 4, 4, 16. And 4, 3, 12, 136. And minus 252 is an 8. So we know it's a positive. So therefore we get positive here. So how about 15? So we're going to write test here. 15, we get positive. So 15 squared. So 15 exponent 2 is 225. So, and then 34 times 15, we got 510 and 8252. So we get 225, 8252 is smaller. So we got negatives. The 115 here is a negative. It's not the solution. So let's try 25. So 25, the first bracket positive, the next bracket 25 exponent 2, and then minus 34 times 25 at 252. So I got positive 27. So we get a positive here. Very good. So, and from here, we know we got 4 and 25 is the solution. But you know the height x cannot be 25 cm. It will be too large. So I guess we only take 4 as a solution. Now we apply the number line. So the first one positive is from 2 and 10.92, one positive solution. The next one is from 23.08 to positive infinity. 2 solutions for this problem solving. Now this question 17 is the last question for chapter 2 test. Now we completely finished the chapter 2 test. So, and I explain it to you in a simplified way to solve it. I hope you apply the knowledge for study and help you to get good mark for the chapter 2 test. And please subscribe my video. I will continue to the next chapter 3. Thank you. See you next video. Bye-bye.